Happening now, child poisoning concerns grow. We hear the testimony of a local mother pleading with officials to take action to stop the lead crisis in Jamestown. And the latest on an overnight fire at a newly opened business in Falconer. Plus, a downtown venue is planning a big expansion to their footprint.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up. But first, a newly opened restaurant in the village of Falconer suffered damage during an overnight fire. Just before midnight Tuesday, the Falconer Fire Department, along with nearby crews from Mutual Aid, were dispatched to the Maple Tree Cafe and Ice Cream at 1993 East Main Street. When first responders arrived at the scene, they found the restaurant's interior full of smoke. Once the fire was knocked down, Chautauqua County's fire investigators were called to the scene to determine its cause. Luckily, no injuries were reported. Since then, the spontaneous combustion of towels exposed to cooking oil prior to being laundered and left in a plastic laundry basket was determined to be the fire's ignition. Now, as of this morning, a contractor was working inside the restaurant, reviewing the extent of damage. The Maple Tree Cafe and Ice Cream first opened their doors in January after renovating the old Big Don's ice cream, which previously sat vacant. And a malfunctioning appliance caused significant damage to an office within the Jamestown Police Department. And Jamestown Mayor Eddie Sundquist provided an update on the fire during Monday's City Council meeting. The flames broke out last Friday, with the Jamestown Fire Department quickly responding, thanks in part to their close proximity with Station 1 just around the corner on Spring Street. The room was being used by investigators and prosecutors with Chautauqua County's District Attorney's Office.
It did demolish that office pretty bad, and so we are in the process of cleaning that up and trying to restore that. We're working with our insurance department. And we're going through that process now, but it's going to take a little time.
This is not the first trouble reported at Jamestown Police's headquarters on East 2nd Street below City Hall. In years past, the agency's lobby was closed due to flooding. The barracks also once had to be evacuated because of a gas leak within the building. A Jamestown mother whose child has been permanently impacted by lead poisoning is speaking out, demanding accountability of the city's polluted housing stock. Bronson Rasmussen joins us live from the newsroom today with more on the mother's battle with lead paint. Bronson?
Justin, mother Jade Shirey, 3-year-old son, now suffers from a plethora of mental and physical disabilities due to his lead paint exposure at her Jamestown home.
He is verbally and cognitively delayed. He does not speak, so there is no communication as far as his needs, his wants, his desires. It ends up in a lot of temper tantrums, meltdowns. I can't usually take him public places because he screams and yells a lot. It becomes a difficult task just to get him dressed in the morning, to get him some breakfast because he can't tell me what he would like.
The mother called on Jamestown lawmakers Monday to address the problem that she believes is completely preventable.
There is no reason why we should still have lead in homes in this city. I get an expensive fix, but we are spending money either way. We are either going to spend it in being proactive and getting lead out of homes, or we are going to spend it reactive.
Similar to health inspections at local businesses, Shirey's solution is to hold landlords accountable.
The county can go into a restaurant, right? You choose to enter a restaurant and get food, and a county can go at any point in time and do an inspection and violate them and shut them down and close the doors so that they can no longer make money out of ill will off of human lives.
Her son's poisoning has greatly impacted his life.
There is hopes in any situation that progress will be able to be made, but and this is per the CDC, the behavioral and cognitive effects of lead are believed to be irreversible. So while we hope that maybe we can communicate with him in some way, there is no guarantee that he will ever get any better than what he is right now.
Now, Jamestown's Director of Development, Crystal Surdick, tells us that while she is on board for keeping the landlords accountable, there's currently no ordinance to do so, but they are in the works. Reporting live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
All right, Bronson, thank you very much for your reporting. A full look at Shiree's remarks to the Housing Committee will be posted on our YouTube page later today and linked within Bronson's web story at WNYNewsNow.com. A popular downtown Jamestown venue is planning to expand their footprint as part of a big renovation effort. The Labyrinth Press Company, a cafe, bar, and restaurant located at 4 East 4th Street, has purchased an adjacent building to expand their dining room space and kitchen. To aid in renovations, owner Jeffrey James and his business partners are seeking a $114,000 American Rescue Plan Act grant from the Jamestown Local Development Corporation. Now, because the funding request was over the $100,000, the allocation needs approval from Jamestown City Council. On Monday night, James formally petitioned lawmakers and outlined his plan.
I plan on making the full side over there, which is 600 square feet, in the kitchen space. There might be some customer area in the front. I'm not totally sure if it's going to be feasible or not.
And then the second floor, you're talking about having a seating area there, and you're going to have like a New York style pizza where you can buy pizza by the slice or you can buy pizza by the pie.
That's my plan, yeah.
Now, in addition to Labyrinth Press Company, 2 other businesses, Panache Salon and Summit Wealth Management, they're seeking $167,000 and $108,000 respectively for similar renovations at their prospective locations. Next week, Jamestown City Council will formally vote to either approve or deny the allocations. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Weather Forecaster Andrew Stevenson joining us today. And it's the first full official day of spring here, Andrew, and Mother Nature's not disappointing out there.
Going to feel like spring over the next few days. Live look from Mayville. Mostly sunny skies out there with the snow that we had this past week and mostly melted away except for those big piles of snow at the end of the parking lot there. First Defense Doppler radar is all quiet with mostly sunny skies across most of the region. There is a weak front that's lying up across Canada that's going to provide some clouds up across the Buffalo area, but down here mostly sunny skies through the rest of the afternoon. We made it to a high of 42 degrees yesterday while the low was 20 degrees, where the averages now for this time of year are 45 for the high and 25 for the low, and the record 79 degrees is the record high set back in 2012, and -2 is the record low set back in 1988. So through the rest of the afternoon out there, here's your hour-by-hour planner for the afternoon. Partly the mostly sunny skies out there, temperatures in the upper 40s, close to 50, low 50s, getting around 3, 4 o'clock with a southwest wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So get outside and enjoy the afternoon, and I'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, we'll see you back in a little bit as we continue an update on the future of a Lake Erie marina that might not be opening this summer season. And later, what the Clean Slate Act could mean for New Yorkers, a look at the push to bring this idea to reality when we come back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
On this episode of Lead and Lures, pro staffer and lethal lady Caitlin Armstrong takes out her big Ohio buck. Months of hard work, dedication, and scouting have led her to this moment. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Lead and Lures on Channel 716 Roku TV. And if you want to see more of Caitlin Armstrong, follow her on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Hunting
Caitlin
on
Armstrong.
private land has been quite the experience.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Pennsylvania State Police arrested a New York man after bringing an end to a nearly 60-mile pursuit in northeast Pennsylvania Township earlier this month. It started when New York State Police were actively pursuing a vehicle on Interstate 90 westbound near the Pennsylvania state line. Troopers deployed 2 sets of spike strips and used a maneuver to end the pursuit. 42-year-old Michael Gleesner of Derby, New York, was arrested for fleeing and eluding. He also faces other charges. He was taken to Erie County Prison ahead of an extradition. Well, continuing coverage on the Northeast Marina, which may be in jeopardy following the suspension of electric service there. On Monday, the town held a meeting to hear from concerned residents who are worried that without electricity, it could lead to a loss for the local economy and even the eventual closure of the marina. WNY News Now's Tom Kowalski has more for us.
As the boating season grows closer, Northeast residents grow increasingly concerned about the future of the town's marina. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission's Dan Pastori says they've not only had to suspend electrical service to the docks indefinitely, but they also may have to delay the season's opening due to the inability to dredge the marina.
We're working diligently to get the permits in place to be able to dredge the marina and hopefully open it up this year with not only for transient boats, but for the slip owners also.
And with the marina potentially not opening, Northeast Mayor John Triana is concerned that there won't be the usual summertime business spike.
I could give you off the top of my head 12 to 15 people that I know come up here and spend 3 to 4 months out of the year of their time paying taxes here because they rent or own a house for half the year that they come up and stay in. They're shopping at local businesses. That's going to hurt our tax base. Our municipality rates just went up.
And with today's town hall meeting being the first time many residents are hearing the details of the issue, many, such as boat owner John Stoller, hope for more communication in the future.
Now I'm hearing they're talking about closing the marina, and I can't seem to get any information as to the definition of closed, whether the slips won't be available, whether launching won't be available, just not sure.
And Stoller says with nothing definitive coming out of today's meeting, he's looking to dock somewhere else.
I'll be looking for other marinas to be able to put my boat just in case things don't work out here.
Tom Kowalski, WNY News Now.
Some advocates are pushing for lawmakers in New York State to sign a bill related to automatic sealing for certain convictions. Our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein is breaking down the issue.
Today, advocates traveled to Albany to rally for a bill called the Clean Slate Act that would allow for automatic sealing for some convictions. Some advocates say this legislation is a crucial step towards racial justice and would have an impact for children and family members of individuals with a conviction record.
By passing Clean Slate, we have a chance to make a real difference in the lives of children and families across New York.
Davis adds that permanent criminal records create lifelong barriers to employment opportunities. She says it pushes families deeper into poverty. The Clean Slate Act was included in the Senate one-house budget resolution, but not in the Assembly. Some lawmakers say the one-house budget resolutions are used to negotiate with the governor, and consequently, sometimes passing legislation on the floor is better.
What we need to do as a body in the state assembly is actually to pass Clean Slate as a bill on the floor so we can ensure that it gets into law.
Assemblymember Gonzalez Rojas says she is hopeful the Clean Slate Act will pass in the legislature this year. The bill currently sits in committee in both the chambers. In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
Elise, thank you. On Monday, House and Senate Democrats in Pennsylvania's legislature, they held a joint hearing on OSHA protections for public sector workers. Currently, protections under the Occupational Safety and Health Act only protect workers in the private sector. The state and local government employees, they're not part of protections. There has been a long push in Harrisburg, PA to pass legislation to change that, especially after an Erie Metro Transit Authority mechanic, Jake Schwab, was killed on the job in 2014. Erie State Representative Pat Hawkins says Schwab's tragic death brought this serious issue to light, and it's now time to act.
If you're a public sector worker, you should be demanding it. You're union or non-union, it affects everybody, it impacts everybody.
Now, Hawkins and other House Democrats say they're optimistic the bill will make it to the floor for a vote now that the party has a majority there. Well, coming up, a look at security preparations ahead of an unprecedented presidential indictment push in New York City. And later, we explain the new health threat, a possible fungal infection reported in several states, including right here in New York. But first, when we come back, Andrew has a full look at our weather forecast as the sunshine just painting the sky out there over Randolph today.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, Channel 716.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Currently in downtown Jamestown, blue skies out there, mostly sunny skies. Current temperature 44 degrees at the Jamestown Airport with a south wind of 9 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the average high temperatures over the next few months. Today, the average high is 45 degrees. By April 21st, our average high will be 60 degrees. May 21st, the average high is 70 degrees. And the first day of summer, which is June 21st, our average high is 78 degrees. So warmer days are definitely ahead. Now, as we head into spring, the National Weather Service in Buffalo will be hosting their first spring storm spotter training, which comes up next Wednesday. That's March 29th at 7 p.m. This is an online session, and you can register for free online at weather.gov/buffalo/skywarn. Now, the radar is a nice tool, but we need storm spotters. They help us see what's happening on the ground. So if you want to become a trained storm spotter and learn some stuff about weather, which the spring session covers severe weather, thunderstorms, tornadoes, flash flooding, you can register online, or there will be some in-person classes coming up later in the spring. Here's what's happening across the Northeast right now. High pressure centered to our south is providing dry weather across much of the region. There is a weak boundary across Canada that might bring some clouds and maybe an isolated shower up across the Buffalo area, and that boundary will sink a little farther south heading into tonight, but mostly it will be a dry night. So let's time have it down on future scan. Again, partly mostly sunny skies through the rest of the afternoon. Some clouds will increase later tonight as that boundary drops by. Maybe an isolated shower tonight painted on future scan, but most of the time will be dry. As we head into the day tomorrow, there will be more clouds around tomorrow. There will be a few showers, more so in the afternoon, but the more widespread rain and even a couple of thunderstorms come Thursday out ahead of a cold front that moves through Thursday night. Before that cold front moves through, temperatures should reach the mid to upper 50s, close to 60, and you'll see that in an extended forecast. Powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions, temperatures in the lower 50s today will go mid to upper 50s Thursday, and then that cold front moves through and temperatures will drop into the lower 40s heading into the weekend. But now really big signs of any cold weather with just some rain showers from Friday into Saturday, and then we dry it out again on Sunday, and temperatures Sunday into Monday looking to be in the upper 40s. So temperatures right around average to slightly above average for this time of year.
Yeah, and you know, Andrew, spring is here when you see the thunderbolt.
First time we used that icon in probably months.
Yeah, certainly. Andrew, thank you very much for that. Well, let's get some headlines now from around the nation. And the New York Police Department, they've been discussing security in the event a possible indictment against former President Donald Trump takes place. Yesterday, police were seen installing security cameras near a Manhattan courthouse, as well as barricades. It comes after Trump announced over the weekend that he expects to be arrested on Tuesday, and he called on his supporters to protest if he is. DA Alvin Bragg says his office won't tolerate attempts of intimidation or threats against the rule of law. Well, on Monday, the Chinese president visited Moscow for the first time since Russian troops invaded Ukraine. While the visit is seen as a boost for Putin, some hope a peace deal can be brokered during the visit. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp hears from military researchers on this.
A military band greeted Chinese President Xi Jinping after landing in Russia today. This kicks off a series of in-person meetings between him and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby hopes President Jinping will advocate for Russia to respect Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Any ceasefire that does not address the removal of Russian forces from Ukraine would effectively ratify Russia's illegal conquests.
Researchers with the Rand Corporation say Jinping's visit to Moscow is important because Beijing has been under a lot of pressure the past couple of months to support Russia's war in Ukraine.
The purpose of the trip to Russia is to first reassure Moscow that China will remain friendly and has no intent of betraying Russia, but to set the stage for his visit to Ukraine, where Xi Jinping will attempt to portray himself as an honest broker and as a country that can help bring about peace.
But he says to keep our expectations low, that a peace deal will break out from Jinping's visit.
The reality is China is fairly closely aligned with Russia and sympathetic to Russia's position. And given that fact, it's very unlikely that China will be able to persuade Putin to accept terms of a peace deal that Ukraine might find acceptable.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
Thank you, Rachel. As of now, it's still unclear what the two leaders have discussed during their meetings, but the meetings between the two leaders come just days after the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin for the deportation and abduction of children from Ukraine to Russia. Well, a fungus considered an urgent, resistant threat spread at an alarming rate in the U.S. healthcare facilities in 2020 and 2021. The new CDC report shows a considerable increase in cases of Candidus auris with resistance to the most common treatment. C. auris is usually not a threat to healthy individuals, but it can cause severe infections with high death rates in hospitalized patients and nursing home residents. Well, coming up next, on the first full day of spring, we're hearing from tick prevention experts on how to keep you and your pets safe as the warmer weather begins to come our way.
You're watching WNY News Now. your source for breaking news.
On this episode of Lead and Lures, pro staffer and lethal lady Caitlin Armstrong takes out her big Ohio buck. Months of hard work, dedication, and scouting have led her to this moment. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Lead and Lures on channel 716 Roku TV. And if you want to see more of Caitlin Armstrong, follow her on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Caitlin Armstrong.
Land has been quite the experience.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma.
Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
Police and other local law enforcement agencies are looking for the person responsible for a shooting.
One of the benefits of this new feature is it not only works with the newer parking meters that the city's been rolling out, but these traditional meters as well.
From muddy trails to slick cliff edges to structures that have fallen into disrepair, these are just some of the problems that this park faces.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
The best medicine against Lyme disease for you and your pet is prevention. Erie News Now's Marissa Thomas spoke with some experts on nature and pets today for hiking safety tips.
When spring begins, many things start to appear. Flowers, birds, and unfortunately, ticks. So before going on a spring hike or nature walk, what's the best way to avoid them?
The number one safety tip is going to be stay on the trail. With going off of the trail, you're going to see different insects like ticks, and they really like edge habitats, tall grasses, things that are kind of up high so that they can brush against your legs and crawl into your pants and come up that way and attach.
And if your furry companion is joining your spring activity, the same advice applies to them.
If you have pets that you're bringing along too, I know it's really tempting to have them off the trails because it is fun and there are lots of good smells, but they're going to get ticks going off trail as well.
Just like if you were to use a preventative bug spray, pets also need high-quality protection from the outside pests.
Good flea and tick preventative is just imperative. We haven't really had a ground freeze in this area, thank God. I guess we had kind of a milder winter. So you definitely want to make sure prescription grade. Over-the-counter stuff just isn't as quality as stuff you get from your veterinarian.
And even with preparation, if those insects latch on, Ruth Thompson, founder and director of the Anna Shelter, says there's no need to panic.
But if you're doing the preventative, if you do notice a tick, don't freak out. Just definitely get it removed. If you can't do it yourself, call your veterinarian to have it removed properly. You don't want to leave any part of the tick embedded in the dog.
Marissa Thomas, Erie News Now.
All right, Marissa, thank you very much. And Andrew, I do actually know a furry friend, family friend dog, believe it or not, they have those today, who unfortunately he got Lyme disease because he was bit by a tick, and he takes medication for it now and is able to live a happy, healthy life. Hasn't really impacted his mood or anything like that. But, I mean, there are those consequences, and a lot of times, especially as we get into spring, everybody's so excited to get out, and you kind of forget about the rise in ticks and that they come pretty early. And mosquitoes too, I believe, right?
The other pest of the summer that comes out, the mosquitoes. One little bite and you're itching for like days on end. I hate mosquitoes.
I believe that sometimes it's in your genetics when mosquitoes come and they attack you. My sister never has any issues when it comes to mosquitoes or sunburn, by the way. It's like the pure Italian skin, just tans. But myself and my mom, we always get bad sunburns, and the mosquitoes, they love us. My blood must be sweet or something, I don't know.
If I read correctly, I think it's only the male mosquito that bites. I don't think it's the female mosquito bites, mostly the males that bite. But yeah, I think I also read they're attracted to sweeter blood, or it's a certain blood type they're
Yeah.
attracted to.
Huh, well, I guess I got the goods, that's for sure. Well, that's going to do it for our show today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this look outside of our studio here in downtown Jamestown. Have a great day. Enjoy the spring-like weather.